I've had it actually people say to me, are you feeling better now? Well, you soon get over it. You know, man up. You know, I've had that put to me several times. And until they are actually in our shoes, wearing our grief, walking our pain, with our pain, these people have got no idea.
I was at work and my manager pulled me to one side and said, "What's wrong with your face? You should be smiling at work." And I should have been over my dad by now, as it's been over a year. And I said, "It's been 5 months." And that was... It was difficult for her to say that to me and then expect me to go back to work and then smile.
They say things that aren't very helpful, like time will heal. Time doesn't heal, it brings acceptance. Another thing they say is life goes on, which is true, but it doesn't help.
So I can remember being about 6 weeks after my brother had been killed and we hadn't even had his funeral yet. And somebody that I worked with told me that if I was still feeling bad, I really ought to go to the doctor because I was obviously very depressed and that wasn't normal. And I remember just thinking, hang on a minute, it's only been like 6 weeks. Why are you telling me I'm not normal? People used to say things like, you should be over it by now. Or are you going on about that again? And that's really painful because I want to talk about my brother and I've got every right to talk about him. And they just say really unhelpful things. There's things like, at least you had him for the 39 years you had him. At least he lived his life to the full. At least, you know. Yeah, I did, and I was lucky to have him, but I should have had him longer. And actually, the people that acknowledged the truth of how horrific his death was and the truth of how horrific what we had to go through was, were the people that were the best support, not the people that tried to minimise it.
Literally a few months after Tony's death, a church friend said to me, I forget her exact words now, but it was something along the lines of, it must have been the will of God that Tony's life was taken. Well, I don't think she meant it to be as bad as it obviously was. I don't think she meant it that way. But I was horrified. I was just horrified. And my response probably at that time was not very polite. And I just had to walk away and was very upset. But, you know, she just hadn't really thought about what she was saying.
We'd have people that really didn't understand what we'd been through, and they'd say, oh, I know exactly how you're feeling, which they obviously didn't. To lose somebody on our roads, it's a very violent death, and it's a shock to the system that leaves us in stress as well as suffering grief. So people didn't know how we felt, and also people would say things like, oh, cheer up, come on, cheer up, get yourself out, this will help, when things obviously wouldn't help at that time. You know, we needed to work through our grief. They don't understand when they come and say, oh, you look better. I was never ill. I haven't been ill. I have had the most devastating, tragic thing happen in my life. My soulmate, we had booked our holidays, planned our life together, and his retirement has suddenly died in such horrific circumstances. And they're coming in saying, you're looking better. And then they say, well, like they said, they're in a better place. Why would they be in a better place without me? Why couldn't I have gone as well?
In the beginning, it was really hard to hear people say that, you know, Martin wouldn't want us to be sad, but I think he would really have understood in the circumstances that we were allowed to be sad. You know, we miss him so much. And I think one of the biggest things is people's silence. They say they don't know what to say, so they don't say anything. And I think that really hurts when, you know, they just will avoid you, they won't acknowledge what has happened. I think it's, you know, I know it's, people feel that they're going to upset you, but it upsets you more when you don't talk about your person. So I think it's really important that people know that it is okay that we do talk about our people.